In order to keep up with the breakneck pace that games are released, a lot of us switch games fairly often. But what if you didn't? Hi folks, it's Falcon, and today on gameranx, 10 people who played one game for years. Number 10, in the massively multiplayer online game Tibia, way back in 2005, there was a door added to the game with a message. You see a gate of expertise for level 999. Only the worthy may pass. And not to mention that leveling in this game is apparently extremely tedious because there are very large amounts of EXP that you need to get in between levels in the higher levels, and dying can send you back down certain levels. And it took 9 years, but a player made it through the door. And that was a lot of work that was done despite the fact that developers had said there was nothing behind the door. And there was no guarantee that there would be anything behind the door. And yet a player by the name of Karsek managed to get there, and then disappeared without saying anything. Yes, they made it through the door, and then did nothing. They just stopped playing the game, they stopped posting to the internet under any accounts that they had, and that's it. That's all we know. Thanks, Karsek. Number 9, a Reddit user by the name of Lyserius played Civilization 2 for 10 years. They made a post on the R Gaming Reddit entitled, "I've been playing the same game of Civilization 2 for almost 10 years. This is the result." Now, I'm not going to be able to read you this whole post, it's fairly long, but I do want to point out some specifics. First, the world is a hellish nightmare of suffering and devastation. And yes, that is a direct quote. There are 3 superpowers in 3991 AD, and there have been dozens of nuclear wars. There is a front line where all 3 superpowers meet in battle, but it is more or less at a stalemate and has been for 2,000 years. Any attempt to advance results in a nuking, and they obviously just retreat. In this version of the world, the 3 nations, the Celts, the Vikings, and the Americans, all reside on swampland because the ice caps have melted over 20 times due to all of the nuclear wars. So not only is it swampland, it's irradiated swampland that you cannot farm, both due to the fact that it is swampland and irradiated. The military stalemate is so significant that all resources pretty much get funneled into tank building. Because when you lose tanks, they have to be replaced, otherwise the stalemate can't continue. However, you can create tanks at a rate that accounts for the loss of tanks. It just makes every city into a tiny town full of starving people. Yes, 10 years of Civilization 2. The world is a hellish nightmare of suffering and devastation. A perfect quote. Number 8, a Mortal Kombat player who had the arcade versions of the games and has been playing them for over 20 years, found some secrets in Mortal Kombat 1, 2, and 3 that haven't previously been found at all. Specifically, he found a menu in all 3 of these games called the EJB menu. EJB obviously standing for Edward J. Boon, or Ed Boon, the main Mortal Kombat guy. Now, these menus feature various interesting things, like the ability to see all of the various fatalities in succession, which obviously because of YouTube isn't that big of a deal at this point in time, but way back when the games were designed, that would have been a big thing. That's kind of the motherlode, so to speak. In Mortal Kombat 3, there's also a minigame that's basically Space Invaders, but completely impossible. Also filled with those goofy Ed Boon sounds. Number 7, back in 2011, a YouTuber by the name of Kurt J. Mack started trying to walk towards the Farlands, the area in Minecraft where the game kinda just stops working correctly and generates terrain that's bizarre. He has been walking in Minecraft since 2011, obviously not continuously of course, but has been walking that long and is about a quarter of the way there as of last year. His most recent video was not more than a few days ago. I don't know exactly how far he is, but as a Let's Play series, he's accrued over 730 episodes and has raised about $400,000 for Child's Play charity doing this. Now keep in mind, newer versions of Minecraft don't have a Farlands, so he's still using an older version of the game, and that's a very long way to go still. I can't imagine that after going for 7 years last year, he's much further than 25% of the way there, but it's interesting to wonder if he'll ever make it. Number 6, a lot of Minecraft servers are simply group build projects where people contribute their time and knowledge of the game to creating a world. Now, when you have a server that has 1,500 people on it that's open for about 5 years, and a lot of those people spend very large amounts of their time doing the building, you get some pretty amazing results. as seen here on Minecraft server, the Shire. On this server, there's so many different areas inspired by so many different realms of science fiction and real places. You can see urban architecture, you can see suburban architecture, you can find the Emerald City, as in from The Wizard of Oz, the Emerald City. Beautiful Latin America-inspired cities with rivers for their transport system, lots of different castles that are huge and gorgeous. There's even an underwater city, not officially named Rapture, but apparently has been done in the tradition of laissez-faire capitalism and scientific abomination, so yeah, it's a reference to that. But perhaps the biggest accomplishment is that it's all connected by a railway system. I don't know if you've ever built a railway system in Minecraft, but even in creative mode, it's very time consuming. And this whole thing is beautiful and functional and well done, the Shire. Number 5, a Reddit user by the name of Salmon Dude had played Grand Theft Auto 3 for over 10 years. And he'd thought that he'd seen everything over the 4 platforms he'd played the game on, but he found an Easter egg actually around 5 years ago and shared it with other folks on the R-Gaming subreddit. That Easter egg is a man that he shot dead holding a drawing that he had drawn, which let's just call crude and call it a day. If that's what you walk around drawing on your free time, that when somebody mows you down, somebody's like, oh, that guy's drawing wieners, then you're probably an NPC in Grand Theft Auto 3. Number 4, a lot of people play EVE Online for many years, but this is something we wanted to share that we thought was interesting. It's kind of doing a specific thing in EVE Online for 2 years, which doesn't sound like a long period of time compared to a lot of the people that we've already talked about. But considering they were just basically stalking another player, the kind of dedication is, well, it's interesting. So, a few pirates in the game wanted to get a hold of a Ragnarok Titan, which is a ship that's worth $3,000. Yes, American dollars. Actual real fiat money. Or at least was in 2014 when this happened. I don't know if it still is. So, this group really wanted a Ragnarok Titan, and they were going to steal it from a certain player that they had found who was traveling around with one. The problem is that their logins were extremely intermittent. As such, it's kind of hard to steal the Ragnarok Titan from the player who is not logged in and therefore not occupying the world. What they did was to follow them around on alternate accounts and kind of try to predict his moves, when he would log in, where he would log in, and if he would log in on the big account with the big ship. When the player finally did log in on that account, they promptly attacked him, and in the chat log happened to go ahead and say, welcome back, mate. Number 3, Halo players tend to find rooms that are in cinematics or part of the scenery that they really want. They're rooms that you're not supposed to be able to get into, and what they want is clearly to get into them. For instance, a group of players that were playing Halo Reach, there's some Banshee rooms in the hangar of the Long Night of Solace level, and they really wanted to get into it. The name of their group was Terminus Trickiosity, and I'm not going to sum up the entire process, but they had to do a series of actions that involves flying into the hangar, triggering the map to overload until somebody spawns without a vehicle, activating a cutscene in a specific way, so on and so forth. And it took them 5 years, but they did. They got into it. Similarly, that same group, Terminus Trickiosity, spent 10 years trying to get into an empty cage in Halo 3. That process is really interesting because it involves pushing a vehicle basically to a certain point and just sort of colliding with geometry in strange ways. When asked why they do this, Terminus Trickiosity said, "'Cause it's a challenge." And I have to agree with that reasoning. A challenge that's just not intended to be there feels like the ultimate challenge in some ways. Number 2, when World of Warcraft turned 10, Blizzard rewarded all of the players that had been there since the beginning, people who had played every year since the inception of Warcraft, by sending out a statue to them of an orc it's a pretty good statue. This was back in 2015, and although there's not really a lot to say about it, it makes me wonder what they're going to do if and when the game turns 20, although I'm assuming it's probably when, more than if, and I cannot wait to see those statues. And finally, number 1, Reddit user gperk69 outed their grandma as having played Wii Fit every single day for a full decade. We've actually covered this person before. There's a picture of her posing with her Wii avatar and saying this is your 3,949th day, which is a lot of days. I can think of not a lot of things that I've done consistently for 10 years at all. So, wow. Wii Fit of all things. Have you played any one single game for a long time? Leave us a comment, let us know what you think, and if you like this video, please click like. If you're not subscribed, now is a great time to do so. We upload brand new videos every day of the week, and the best way to see them first is, of course, a subscription. So click subscribe, and don't forget to click the notification bell. As always, thank you very much for watching this video. I'm Falcon. You can follow me on Twitter @FalconTheHero, and we'll see you next time right here on gameranx.